Hey guys, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. This channel is all about my journey through my 40s. I am working really hard to get my poop in a group. I'm focusing on my financial, my physical, and my mental health. Primarily, everything you've seen so far has been about my financial health, but today is the long-promised mental health check-in. So if these sound like something that you would be interested in and you would like to join me on my journey, I invite you to subscribe. I would love to have you come to help me keep me accountable, help you help keep me accountable, and also to encourage each other as we go through this journey of life together. Anyway, I have mentioned a lot about, especially in my earliest videos, about a blip that I had last year at the end of the year. It was really the end of summer, beginning of fall, that I went into what I now recognize as a depression, but I did not recognize it at the time. I am very fortunate. I have never struggled with mental health. I do have friends and family who have, and I know the seriousness of it. I also work in healthcare, and I am not a clinician, but I work for companies that do handle a lot of mental health patients, so I am familiar with it, and on a logical level, on a mental level, I understand the symptoms and I know what I should be looking for in other people. But turns out when it was happening to me, I did not recognize what was going on. So let me give you a little bit of a backstory. It was 7.5 years ago now, but it was just 7 years ago when this first happened to me, that I lost my friend Troy. He was 29 years old. He was at home. It was a Sunday afternoon. He went in to take a nap, and he had told his roommate, a mutual friend of ours, that he had a lot of errands to run that afternoon. And she realized that he had been sleeping for a while. So she was, I don't know if this is going to be okay. There's a lot of glare, but sorry. Anyway, she realized he'd been sleeping for a while, so she went in to check on him, and she could not wake him up, and she had to call 911, and it was a very awful experience. I mean, he was almost 30, but he was still 29 years old. It was the first loss that any of us in our friend group had experienced, other than, grandparents. But, somebody our age, this shook us, and in a way, it made us all very close. But it definitely shook our foundations, and it took us years you don't get over it. There's always going to be a Troy-shaped hole in my heart. The camping trip that we just took a couple of months ago was, we call it Troy Popalooza, because my friend Troy was really into hanging out and doing adventures with his friends, and he, anyway, so we like to do things in his honor. We have Troy Patrick's Day instead of St. Patrick's Day, because he was very Irish. His name was Troy Patrick. Anyway, we do a lot of things in his honor. It really did cement us as a group of friends, but it shook me, and it was the first loss that I experienced. And then 2 years after that is when my sister passed away, and her 40th birthday is coming up, but so this was 5 years ago. So she would have been 35 years old at the time, and I was 37. So I was still very young to lose a sibling, like an adult sibling who, it was awful. It was just an awful thing. But neither of these deaths were new last year. One was 7 years old and one was 5 years old, and these were not new traumatic losses that I was dealing with. So it never entered my head that this could be related. What was new is it was the 1-year anniversary of my father's passing. So my dad passed on September 29th of 2020. And so last year, at the end of August, he passed on August 29th of 2020. So it was the end of August that I started to slip into this funk. And it was just, if you had asked me if I was depressed, I would have said no. I'm not sad. I mean, obviously I'm sad. My dad, it's the anniversary of my dad's passing. Obviously I'm sad, but it wasn't like I was crying in my room. It wasn't like I just felt like this immense sense of loss and grief. I was just tired. I was just lethargic. I did not feel like doing anything. I did not feel like going anywhere or talking to anybody. I would work. I would get off of work. I would go to my room. I would watch YouTube or watch Netflix or whatever I was doing. And then I would go use the restroom, brush my teeth, put on my PJs, and go to bed. And that was it. I didn't want to go anywhere. I have a group of friends that we do Wine Lady. We do a Wine Thursday. And I didn't want to go to Wine Thursday. I went maybe 2 times last, like the fall, end of summer, fall, winter. I just didn't go. I just couldn't bring myself to go. And you hear me talk about Ginny, my bestie, and I go up there once a week normally, and I hang out with her and her baby and her husband, and I try to do that. I didn't even want to go see Ginny. And if Becky doesn't want to go see Ginny, something's wrong. And that should have really been my telling. I didn't even come out of my room to hang out with Nathan. I was just, and again, I didn't feel like I was sad. I just didn't want to do anything. I also had been doing super well on my weight loss on my Optavia, and I just stopped. I just stopped doing anything with the weight loss. And I had been doing really well on my budget, and I just spent money. I just started spending money. And it wasn't until I was coming out of it that I recognized it for what it was. And I am sure that there are those of you out there who have mental health, a history of dealing with this. I had no experience. I had no idea. I can't think of the word. I knew on a what do you call the school? Scholastic. I knew on a scholastic level, that's not the word, but I knew on that level what the symptoms were, but I didn't recognize them when they happened to myself, and I was not prepared to handle them. I didn't know that this was something that could happen to me, and I just really let myself go. I gained back 10 of the pounds that I had lost. I racked up almost all of my credit cards. That debt that y'all saw, other than the PayPal and the Amazon card, though some of that as well, but all the rest of that debt that was on my cards when I first started this channel was all from that time frame. It was all from that. I wish, and I know that there's a big move to do this, and I really, really hope that the insurance companies and the medical community out there listens, because I really hope that we can start treating mental health like we treat physical health, and that we don't shame people with mental health issues, and that people who are experiencing this have access to get help for it, because my insurance does not cover mental health. I can't go get therapy, and I'm going to tell you, I probably need it for many reasons. And it's not, I know everybody should be entitled to therapy, but it's part of me, and it's probably because of the culture I was raised in, feels like I don't need it, because I didn't have any horrible, traumatic childhood. I had a wonderful, very loving, very nurturing childhood with parents who didn't have the most money, but gave me everything that they could and did everything for me and my sister. And I have a wonderful life. I have great friends. I make a decent living. I have a great life. I don't feel like I should need to go to therapy. But then I have these little traumatic experiences in my past that I am not feeling up to talking about right now, but I do have these little traumatic experiences in my past that I know I need to talk to somebody about and talk to a professional about. I don't think I need medications. I don't think that I have like any severe mood disorders that are on a lasting level. But I think everybody has little traumas in their life. Anybody who's ever lost somebody has that loss with them always. It will never go away. I describe it as if you have a whole heart when you're born, and then you lose somebody, be that a parent, a sibling, a friend, I say I have a Troy-shaped hole in my heart, and it will shrink, but it will never heal. And nobody, as many wonderful people as I meet in my life, will ever fit that hole, because they're not going to be him. And then I have a Ruthie-shaped hole in my heart, and nobody will ever be her. And you heal, and you cope and you move on. But I really think that everybody has these traumas, and if you don't, just be thankful. Be so thankful for what you have and appreciate it while you have it. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I actually filmed this earlier and then I started crying really bad, so I'm not going to post that one, and now I'm going to cry again. But anyway, I'm almost home, but I want to say I am a woman of faith, and y'all have heard me talk about my ecclesia and my church and the things that I do. But I want to say that I recognize and I believe that you cannot snap out of it like I know a lot of religious people say. I know that you can't tell yourself to not be upset. You can't just be like, well, this is stupid that I'm depressed and I have God in my life. Why am I sad? Because I do have those feelings, but I know better. I know that better, but I do believe that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I do believe that very much. And so when I did realize and recognize what was happening to me, I was able to pray about it. And once I knew what it was, I knew what to ask for. I knew where I needed the strength and where I needed to focus my prayer and my attention, and I was able to work on it. So this is not me saying that I think that you can just be religious and not have to deal with mental health. I don't believe that at all. But I am saying that if you are struggling and you do have faith, I hope that you remember that God is always there, and you should reach out to him and ask for his help to overcome whatever it is you are going through. Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off. I hope y'all are having a fantastic day. Look for more videos. There are other traumas in my life I will go into detail on in another video. I am not feeling up to talking about those tonight. But I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.